Yo, what is going on, gang? It is a good morning. If you follow me on Instagram, I like to say that every day. Regardless of what day it is, always blessed to wake up and start the day by, bro, it is a fucking good morning. Holding the mic away from my face. Apologies if the audio faded there, but every morning, it's about like 5:40 right now. Every morning, I'll come out here at like around 6 a.m. Let me flip the camera. I'll come back here, get my feet in the ground, boom, get some grounding in. Get the morning sun. I take my morning pee outside to get in tune with nature, get in tune with the birds. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I always come out here, do my morning push-ups, my morning pull-ups, put it on my story, which I'm about to do in a second. But the importance of having a morning routine is everyone wants to have the most physically capable body possible, right? But if you're unwilling to will your mind to wake up early, to have a morning routine, right? Something that's conducive for your daily success. If you can't be successful on the mental side, you can't be successful on the physical side, right? Everything stems from the mind. Allergies got me crazy. And for me, I'm all about setting the tone. If you guys have checked out any of my workout videos, you'd understand the importance of a warm-up for a workout, right? Your warm-up sets the tone for your workout. If you're going in and doing arm circles versus if you're going in and doing like overcoming isos and activation, plyos and stuff, that really sets the tone for a great workout. The same way, a great morning routine sets the tone for the day. And so this has just been a morning routine that works for me. I come out here, get some blood flowing. I make my body the first priority. It kind of just like a subconscious reminder to my identity, like, yo, the body's a priority. Go inside, hydrate. But enough with the yap. I'm going to get to these morning push-ups and pull-ups, put it on my story. I'm just going to bring you guys along for the day in the life. Hopefully that's a good angle. We got to set up the phone, too, for the daily story post. If you guys don't follow me on the gram, you might as well. I show up every day on the gram, and YouTube is more, I don't want to say occasionally. I would say probably like, the goal for me is like 3 times a week. Been slacking these past couple weeks. So if you guys want more daily content, daily value, I'll put the gram in the description. I'm a little more awake this morning than usual. Normally I wake up and it's like a fucking flashbang hit me. I'm like, but I was just in Hawaii for 2 weeks. And so my body became adjusted to that time zone, which is 6 hours behind Eastern time, my current time zone. And typically it takes me a couple days to readjust my sleep, and waking up early and setting the tone early, staying up all throughout the day for a good bedtime is the quickest way for me to get back on track. But that's just a little side note. Either way, we're out here at about 6 a.m. or slightly before every morning, and the goal is just this. You guys hear I'm breathing a little heavy. That's the goal. I want to get blood flow, huffing and puffing, quarters and dimes, 25 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, get the blood flowing, get blood to the brain, and wake up the body, right? And typically, next thing I'll do, go inside, smash some salt water. Why salt water? Because true hydration isn't correlated to like the amount of fluids you have, but rather how much of that fluid can your body actually absorb. Your body absorbs it with electrolytes. Salt is just an easy one. Magnesium, another electrolyte. Potassium, like in coconut water. Today, I poured a liquid IV packet in my water, so I don't need the salt water right now, but it's really not going to hurt because I'm planning to go for a little run here. I'll be sweating regardless. So I'll show you guys. I'll just take you guys through my morning routine, what I normally do. I don't normally have a liquid IV. I was just craving it. It tastes good. It's like fucking lemon lime. Probably some bullshit in there, but again, here, check this out. Guys, when it comes to the morning time, you cannot beat this. Boom. Morning sun, regulate your circadian rhythm, get your feet in the grass, regulate your cortisol. Everything, like, it's these little things that add up that really help you just get a banging start to the day. Sunlight, grounding, blood flow, hydration. You'd be ready to attack, whatever. Typically, I'll fill up a Yeti's cup worth of water, grab my friendly old salt, just a couple dashes in there. And so for me, this is important because for a while, I would just kind of pound straight water, not realizing that my body needs electrolytes to absorb it. Electrolytes will help, your brain function in the morning. Hydration alone will help your brain function in the morning. Hydration does kind of rely on electrolytes, so it's important. If you got, like I said before, magnesium powder, potassium. I mean, I don't know if you guys keep fucking potassium, magnesium powder around, so salt is just the easiest one to go to. But I'll just slam this one like so. Get on one knee so you guys can see me here. I'll slam like one or two of those before I have coffee. And if you guys know Andrew Huberman, you know he talks about like, yeah, wait, an hour before you have any caffeine, something related to your adenosine receptors and crashing later in the day. I don't think you need to get too fucking scientific with this shit. I just know that my body would appreciate hydration more in the morning than acidic caffeine. So I make sure I hydrate, get my movement in, and then I'll caffeinate. Coffee will be the next thing that I have, just some black coffee. I don't typically have breakfast until about, I've been up for like 2 hours ish. Not that I'm doing any like intermittent fasting. I've just found like food in general tends to slow me down. Obviously, we need food, but I like to build some momentum in the morning without it. So I'll go read. I like to have a book of my choice, read some scripture as well. And then this morning, I want to get some kind of cardio and get moving, get sweating, just to try to regulate my sleep schedule, make sure I fall asleep easy tonight. But yeah, next up on the menu, got some coffee. You guys don't need cream, by the way. If you want to add something, a little bit of honey, a little bit of butter goes a long way. I'll do that, or just some black coffee like this morning. Movement, hydrate, caffeinate, recipe for success. I don't have enough hands to hold my camera, microphone, and the books, but when everything goes to plan, it'll be before 6 a.m. I'm out here getting my morning reading in, 10 minutes of a book of my choice, and then a few verses of scripture. I'll show you guys here what I'm currently reading. Currently reading At Your Command by Neville Goddard. His work is pretty controversial from a Christian point of view because he takes a lot of Christian perspectives and kind of twists them into his own thing. A lot of people consider it to be blasphemous. I really appreciate his perspectives, and I believe that, as someone with faith, you just have to read it with discernment and understand where you're being led astray. You can still appreciate another person's perspective without treating it as gospel, treating it as truth. But I like to read philosophical books, mindset books, apply it to my daily life, apply it to my training. Scripture is obviously the greatest book of wisdom of all time. There's so much meaning, so many metaphors in there. You don't just take it in a literal sense. And this all stems back to the mind, right? You can't have a capable body without a capable mind. Everything stems from the mind. You look at a fat person, the obvious part is that they're fat, but what's going on internally? They lack discipline, they lack consistency, have an unhealthy relationship with food. And for a while, you couldn't have convinced me that I needed to nourish my mind in order for my body to flourish at its maximum potential. But over time, that's what I've come to realize. How can you be committed to a physical routine if you can't be committed to a mental routine? How can you demand physical excellence if you don't demand mental excellence? See, these things that we demand from our bodies can't just exist in one realm. They can't just exist physically or mentally or within our relationships or within our work. Everything we do, it's like it truly is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Our behaviors are congruent. You can't compartmentalize a bad habit. You can't compartmentalize sin. I know in Leviticus it says when leprosy is in one part of the house, you have to tear the entire house down and rebuild it. It's the same way with sin. You can't just be like, oh, well, I only, smoke weed and it just helps me chill out. It's like, no, smoking weed is going to affect your focus within your work. It's going to make you tired within your training. It always has a bleed over effect. Things can't just exist in one aspect of your life. So in knowing that, we want to make sure that we're maximizing our capability in all realms, not just physical, not just within the gym, but mentally, financially, within our relationships. So I'm going to get to reading. I always like to throw a line of whatever I'm reading on Instagram and relate it to my audience, relate it to myself, and just give my followers a new perspective. So if that's something you guys would appreciate, you can always check that out. I do it daily on my story as well. But I'm going to get to reading here. Got a little bar for you guys from The Power of Awareness, At Your Command. The Power of Awareness is the book that comes after this. But it is impossible for the poor man to find wealth in this world, no matter how he is surrounded with it, until he first claims himself to be wealthy. For signs follow, they do not precede. To constantly kick and complain against the limitations of poverty while remaining poor in consciousness is to play the fool's game. Changes cannot take place from that level of consciousness, for life is constantly out-picturing all levels. The fuck does that mean? Basically, everything stems from your consciousness, from your mind. For example, a fat person doesn't wake up and look in the mirror and all of a sudden they're shredded. they first have to become fit in their mind. They have to make that decision. They have to change their identity, change their consciousness. No longer, they have to shift their awareness from being fat to being fit. Once they assume the consciousness of a fit person, and I'm using the word consciousness, that might sound woo-woo to some people. Once they assume the identity of being a fit person, right? What habits, what actions, how do they think, eat, act, feel? That's where the signs will begin to follow. For signs follow, they do not precede. It's the mind that changes first. I either sound like a fucking mad scientist, some crazy dude with bedhead right now, or this is clicking for you. And I'll give you guys an example of this if that isn't clicking. When I had knee surgery and I was just hobbling around on one leg, fucking couldn't really walk or run like a normal human being, I was picturing myself being able to dunk a basketball. I was feeling it vividly. I was assuming that feeling of the wish fulfilled because that was the goal of my recovery. I was like, dude, if I can dunk after this knee surgery, I will have considered this to be a successful recovery. And so I became infatuated with this image, and I guess it's a manifestation of sorts, but basically I became so consumed by it that although I had no physical evidence of being able to dunk at the time because I really only had one functional leg, I was able to picture it, and I shifted my consciousness to the person that is able to do those things. And then it became, if I am the person that can do these things, what does that person do? And it's almost a process of reverse engineering. But notice how I had no physical evidence of being able to dunk. I just assumed the feeling and I shifted my consciousness to that, because if I waited for a sign to be able to dunk, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it as soon as I did. I was able to dunk a basketball at 5 months post-operation, right? But you have to remember this line: for signs follow, they do not precede. The evidence of being able to dunk could not come before me shifting my consciousness in my brain to being able to be that person, right? I first had to assume that feeling. If it's not clicking for you, that's all right. It will eventually. Just know that everything starts within the mind. So we woke up, we nourished the body with some quarters and dimes, some push-ups and pull-ups, some hydration, nourished the mind with some reading, some scripture. A big part of my morning is protecting my peace, my energy. I think some people wake up and just fucking scroll. They scramble their brain off the rip. They're seeing all these different people, all their lives, all their problems, and it's all crowding their mental space. And that was me for a while. I'll wake up and scroll. It's such a terrible thing to do. In the morning, the most productive thing that I found is to just pour into yourself. And having to, record this and post stuff on my story, it's both a privilege and it can also be a bit of a burden when it comes to protecting my peace, because I've become concerned with making sure I get content out to you guys. But ultimately, I view it more as a privilege, because if I can still stay dialed but share it with you guys, I'm going to fucking do that, because I know I'm inspiring at least one other person out there to get their shit right. And if that's all I can do, bro, that's fucking worth it for me. Spreading some sort of positivity, spreading some sort of change. But for you guys, protect your peace in the morning. Don't go on social media. Don't scroll around. Enjoy the quiet. Find peace in the quiet. Pour into yourself. Take this, because I know people, you got to go to work. You got families. You got relationships. Take this morning opportunity to just pour into yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't set yourself on fire trying to keep everybody else warm. Nourish your body. Nourish your mind. Take care of yourself so you can pour from a more abundant state. All right, gang. So far, got a good wake-up time. Got some push-ups, pull-ups, hydration, nourish the mind. Now we're gonna get a quick little run. It is about 6:30 right now. Probably be back before 7. I'm not going on a crazy run. I don't really do a ton of endurance training like that. Obviously, if you guys are on social media, get the seatbelt away from the mic so I don't mess up. If you guys are on social media, you probably see all the fucking run club, the scattered tats, Strava people. If you know, you know. They're running hella miles. I'm not doing all that. It's not really conducive to my style of training. The longest I'll go is a little 2 mile. Unless I'm doing a gut check, purely for mental purposes, I'll run 5, 10 miles, something like that. And that is not often. I've ran 10 miles once. I ran 5 miles once. And that was purely for number one, a gut check purpose. And my friend was kind of bro, if you don't do it, you're a bitch. So I just fucking had to do it. But it's not conducive to my training. I train for capability in the sense of power, speed, athleticism. Endurance is part of it. Having an engine is part of it. But I train my engine in other ways. I'll do 400-meter runs, mile runs for pace. I'll do hills, 100-meter sprints, pretty much anything a mile and below to train my engine. When it comes to over a mile, it starts to just get unnecessary.
in a way. Just constant pounding on your joints, like your ankles, your knees. It's a lot of wear and tear, and it doesn't really complement my style of training with like plyometrics and super intensive power cleans and stuff. So going to get a little mile in, more as a recovery run. My split was pretty discombobulated this week because I flew back in Wednesday morning at like 8 a.m. My sleep was a bit off, whatever, excuses, but just want to get a little run in because my split has consisted of lately 3 days of lifting, 3 days of running, and today would be one of the running days. I'll probably rest up this weekend so I can just hit my split hard again this coming week. But yeah, just a little something. Get the blood flowing, get moving and grooving. I love getting a nice little sweat first thing in the morning. And so I like to kind of anchor my cardio in the morning whenever I can. Like if you guys watch my, I think it was a day in the life video, I ran hills in the morning and it's just great. Starting the morning off with a nice sweat. So hit the trail. This camera isn't too like run friendly. I'm not really trying to take it on the run. So I'll catch you guys afterward. And yeah, always great to start your morning with a sweat. If you guys are able to hit the gym in the morning, I'm able to hit the gym in the morning. I just prefer to go later. I like to have some fuel in my system just to get like a nice pump and like a quality session. Little side note, no headphones. The same way you want to protect your peace in the morning by being careful of the content you're consuming and not doom scrolling, the same way you want to be mindful of your overall consumption, and music is a huge part of that. Now, there's a lot of people I know listen to rap music. If you're listening to like guns, drugs, hoes, and shit like that, it's not very good for your mental environment if you're constantly listening to it. Sometimes it's better to just have silence, be cool and comfortable with peace. Listen to the birds chirping on your run. You know, in the gym, that's a different story. I'm not listening to some fucking boof-ass Planet Fitness, Lifetime Fitness playlist. I'm gonna have my own music on. But in things like this, you know, or even just doing shit around the house, if you're studying, if you're working, sometimes it's good. Just find peace in silence. That's what I'm gonna do on this run. I like to protect my energy, protect my mind, my mental capital, because obviously everything stems from the mind. Running with no music, great way to do it. Get more in tune with your body, get into it in nature, tap in. Quick little mile on the trail, enjoying the sunrise, enjoying the morning birds, the peace and quiet of an empty trail early in the morning. And what's really cool about that run is it just felt effortless. I haven't always been like a huge runner, and so lately I've been wanting to just improve all of my running times. Like recently I broke a minute in the 400, which is nothing impressive at all. For my stature, like 6 foot, 205, I'll take it. I'm not gonna be flying like some more lean track dudes, but I know I can easily get like probably 55 there, but I digress. Within the mile, a goal of mine is 6 minutes flat, and I probably could hit it. I just haven't actually pushed myself on a regular track and like time myself. But my point is, in working on it, today has felt the most effortless that a mile has ever felt in probably like the past year. And it's a testament to that we all start somewhere, right? When I was first getting back into this running shit, my miles felt hard. I was fucking drained, gasping for air, right? That run just felt so calm, so smooth. I didn't warm up for it. It was just kind of like a cool little recovery run, right? And it's a testament to just showing up. You're not gonna be an all-star off the rip, and if you were, it wouldn't help you at all. Even if you wished for it, even if you just got into the gym and you wished for, oh, I just wanna get a 315 bench right away, it wouldn't do anything for you because it's not the fucking bench, it's not the mile time that makes you, it's the journey and the process of becoming that thing, of becoming the person who can bench 315. What the fuck was that? Fucking idiots driving, I swear. I gotta calm myself. But of becoming the person who can run a 6 minute mile, right? Because you have to show up, you have to go through hardship, you have to be cool with not being the best at it for a little bit, you have to understand how to grow, you have to understand how to support yourself through these growth periods, how to accommodate your sleep, your diet, nutrition, overcoming mental hardships, training when you don't feel like it, running when you don't feel like it. So it's this whole process. It's the journey that actually develops you. It's not the destination. The destination is like a cherry on top. The whole thing, the most of the benefit is from the journey itself. It's the same thing with these morning routines, right? I mean, this morning routine will help me be successful. It will help me reach my goals in life, but it's not gonna be the goal that makes me. It'll be showing up and doing this routine and doing the process day in and day out. Fall in love with it. It's so cliche, but it truly is the process that makes you sweet. The goal is just a cherry on top. The goal is simply a byproduct. But yeah, we're just pulling back to the crib. I'll loop you guys in for what I'm gonna have for breakfast. A little bit of carbs because we just burned some carbs on the run. Mostly proteins and fats to anchor the day for overall satiety and to kind of curb my appetite for my first work block of the day. But first, a cold shower. Right when you think this thing doesn't get any better. Oh, push-ups, pull-ups, hydration, reading, mile run. Now that I'm fucking sweaty and gross, I don't want to be sitting at my desk all gross, and I can take a regular shower. Cold shower just fucking jolts you awake. And every morning before I take a cold shower, I'll turn the shower on, it's cold. I'll just like look at the water. I'll be like, fuck, do I really want to get in there? And it's not that the cold shower is like turn you into some superhuman. Rather, it's having to overcome these little micro discomforts every day. I don't want to get out of bed and do push-ups and pull-ups. So the more comfortable option would be to sleep in and doom scroll. But in overcoming these micro discomforts, you prepare yourself for overcoming macro discomforts or bigger challenges, bigger hurdles in life. So it's not so much the cold water, it's not so much the push-ups, it's about who they allow you to become. The person who doesn't shy away from discomfort, the person that just chips away every morning, incrementally getting better, one foot in front of the other, because those are qualities that'll transfer to every other aspect of your life, right? If you can't step into fucking cold water, what makes you think you can overcome some huge hurdle life throws your way, which it inevitably will. Everyone has problems in life. So you can sharpen this muscle by just overcoming micro discomforts daily. So I'm gonna hop in a cold shower. See you guys for breakfast.
The final step to a great morning is eggs. We nourished the mind with some reading, fed the body with some push-ups, pull-ups, a little mile run. Now it's like, what are you actually putting into your body? Make sure it's good stuff. You hydrated, had some black coffee. Now breaking the fast with some eggs. Eggs are a superfood that everyone should be eating every single morning. I think a lot of people look at it as like a good protein source, but what I appreciate even more are the fats, the cholesterol, and all the micronutrients. It's great for your hormones, great for your brain, so many other benefits that I could dive into, but you guys should do your own due diligence on eggs. I have about 5 every day. When it comes to the macronutrients, I always focus on anchoring each meal with proteins and fats, and for a couple reasons. I primarily eat animal-based proteins, so when I anchor my meal with proteins and fats, specifically animal-based, I'm hitting a ton of micronutrients, whether it's from eggs, beef, fish, whatever. And proteins and fats are the 2 most satiating micro or macronutrients. So when you anchor your meal with those, you're able to control your hunger. Not that we're trying to eat less, but when you can kind of control your appetite, you can naturally kind of float in a deficit area to just help you stay lean year round. Like I look like this year round unless I'm purposefully trying to bulk, and a big part of that is how I structure my meals. So when I have something like this, I can pretty much hold myself over for the next couple hours, have a snack before I go work out. Every meal, proteins and fats. When it comes to carbs, carbs are not evil. Carbs are great. I used to villainize them and not eat them at all, but I realized that my workouts were getting super flat. I felt like shit. So I'm gonna have some carbs as well. It's important to have your carbs around your training, right? Because that's your fuel for your training. You wanna have carbs beforehand and afterward. Fill up your glycogen stores for the training, replenish them afterward. Afterward as well, you kind of can blunt the cortisol effect post-exercise. But the problem I see most people is that they'll have carbs all day long, even on non-training days, which just causes them to retain more water, feel more bloated, look more watery. And if you're not putting those carbs to use, just like with any excess calories, it'll turn to fat. So only having carbs, like using them as a tool, has been super helpful. So to kind of sum up the whole philosophy, I know this is kind of going like a little diet rabbit hole. Proteins and fats to anchor every meal. Carbs as a tool, as a supporting actor for training. Super easy. Animal-based proteins, animal-based fats. For carbs, I like fruit, sweet potato, sourdough, white rice. So I kind of eat on like a variation of animal-based, but having some eggs, maybe some dates, maybe a slice of sourdough. I am going to get an arm pump, so I'm going to have some more carbs than I normally would in the morning time. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the whole video. This is how I optimize my mornings, how I set my day up for success. Win the morning, win the day, have a great warm-up, have a great workout, right? It's the same principle. So I appreciate you guys for making it to the end of the video. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, whatever, the whole fucking nine. I'll put my Instagram in the description. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Peace, love, prosperity. See you in the next one. Peace.